research that we did to write this book. The way it came about was interesting, Jeff. I was in Israel and I took about 100 pilgrims with me. It was not my first trip. And I had finished speaking on the Beatitudes, up on the Mount of Beatitudes in the north of Galilee. And that day was a spring day. There were beautiful poppies, which is pictured on the front of the book. We'll talk about that in a minute. Blooming everywhere. And that day I brought out something that I hadn't before, which was at the end of the Beatitude teaching, there were some disciples of John the Baptist who showed up, and John was in prison. And John the Baptist was a great prophet, but he was hurt and bitter. And I'll tell you why. Because his question he sent his followers with was cynical. Ask Jesus if he's really the one we're looking for, or should we look for someone else? That's a hurt man. Jesus, you're doing great. I'm languishing in prison, and this is not fair. And Jesus said, look, tell John what you've seen. No one knew better than John who Jesus really was. But they said, Jesus said, tell them the blind are seeing, the deaf are hearing. It's wonderful. And they turned on their heel to go and tell him. And before they were out of earshot, they turned back and looked. And Jesus said, by the way, this is what I added that day, the personal beatitude. Jesus said, by the way, blessed is he, which the word blessed means happy, we learned. Happy is the one that's not offended by me. That was a personal one for John. So there was a real brokenness. There was a thing. I talked about offense and how deadly it is. And when I finished, people were milling around. Some were picking a poppy as something to put in their book. And I felt this inner directive. I want you to write a book about happiness. I'd written books before, but never about happiness. And to be honest, I didn't think I was the guy to do it. I was pastoring a church here in Dallas. It was doing well. I had a great family. I had everything that should make you really happy. I wasn't really happy. I know what it feels like to be depressed and to be anxious and to not know why and to kind of feel like the song, is this all there is? Then if it is, let's just keep dancing. Then this breakthrough came, and the greatest breakthrough in this book is that I thought that happiness was trite to God. I thought he was way too big and serious about problems. I didn't know he was really invested in and interested in us being happy, really happy. And that's the breakthrough.
All right, Jeff, how did you guys meet? How did you collaborate on this book?
We've met several times over the course of our life. I think the first moment, he was doing Mike and some pastors were doing a conference on the West Coast, and they wanted to use our church building. And I knew of him, but I didn't have a relationship with him. And I thought, well, I'll just hang out in the back and kind of watch what's going on. And when you get to know Mike, you'll get to know one of his great gifts that he has is his ability to kind of look into you and speak, maybe prophetically, but speak life to something that is kind of dormant and it's waiting to surface and spring forth. And so he just says, hey, can I pray for you? So he prayed for me, and he said, hey, I feel like you're supposed to be writing, which I knew, you know that you know what you're supposed to do. And I knew I'm supposed to be. So I was always writing, but I never was publishing. I was just writing all the time. I loved writing. And then he stopped and he goes, no, you write all the time. I think you need to start publishing. And I was like, this is a man of God. He knows things. He's talking to the man upstairs. And that was really my first introduction. So I was endeared to him. And then in 2016, he says, hey, he tells me about this idea that he has, what's on his heart. And so he asks me if I'll help him write it. So I was helping him kind of as a ghostwriter, just kind of come along and write. And then we kind of sat on that for a while. And in 22, he calls me up and he says, I just feel like this is supposed to be something we're doing together. Mm. And I want to unghost you.
Right.
So that's what happens, and that's what happened, and that was kind of our journey together. And through that time, we've become more like, I would say, more like brothers This is the older brother that I never had, and he claims that I'm the younger brother that he never had.
Right.
And so we really have this close relationship. I feel like God brought him in my life at a time when I was just at the absolute bottom to speak life into me. And then he cheers me on. So I feel like we're in this covenant relationship for life.